In talking about Lowell Lake, just by way of disclosure, in addition to being chairman of the Conservation Commission, I'm also speaking as a private citizen who uses Lowell Lake, and also as a member of the Lowell Lake Working Group, where I serve, where I belong officially as a member of the Conservation Commission and with the approval of Conservation Commission members. So everything that we're doing in that regard is known to my members. And we've had meetings with, or we've had one meeting actually, one official meeting so far, one more coming up, with the stewardship team that is managing this Lowell Lake project. Kelly actually helped us put that one together. And they told us at the last meeting that they had arrived at 4 design concepts for what they want to do at Lowell Lake. And those, in which they will, at next week's meeting that they're holding in the town hall, they'll be discussing those. So the 4 concepts are to have overnight use in the existing cabins, overnight camping in newly constructed cabins, not those. No overnight use at all, but using one or more of the physical structures for day use for like educational. And the last design concept being no overnight use at all, no use of the structures at all, just day use only. So that's what they told us, that's what they're working on. We, in the last few weeks, submitted a Freedom of Information Act request to the state for all documents pertaining to Lowell Lake. And it took a while to get them, they cost us money, and a lot of time to go through them. And we're 99% finished going through them. And we found some alarming things in those documents. Although they're saying that overnight camping is only one of the concepts, from the beginning, that's what they had planned to do. They submitted an RFP for consultants and contractors back in 2018, and in that it says, at the time of the 97 plan, it was generally thought that day use would be an insignificant use of the property. So going back, they've always had in mind to have overnight camping. A big part of this project was achieving historical designation for the cabins. And why in a state like Vermont with a 300-year-old history, you can be considered historical if you're only 50 years old, I don't know, but that's the rule. They achieved landmark status, historical status for these cabins, which is a kind of a linchpin in what they're doing. But in reviewing the application, one of the things that they told the Division of Historic Preservation was that the camps are a tourism-related development that was a key part of Londonderry's economy, drawing visitors to the area starting in the 19th century, which I think was true, and continuing to this day. And maybe somebody can tell me otherwise, but I don't think people coming to those camps to look at those old derelict cabins are a source of our economy. So that was a little bit misleading, and I can't say how much that played a role in the designation that they received, but it was that was one of the elements they had to submit, which was approved as a complying element. The creation of overnight camping will cost millions of dollars. In one document, we saw estimates of $1.1 to $1.4 million. But that doesn't include a lot of expensive things. That's only for the ground up renovation. Doesn't include any of the exterior things, excavation, bringing in electrical, bringing in septic, or any of that stuff. And other estimates we've seen can bring the whole thing up to around $3 million. So they're talking about spending around $3 million, up to around $3 million of taxpayer money for something that a lot of people don't like. In going forward with this, they haven't performed yet environmental impact studies, which is kind of strange. They already spent untold tens of thousands of dollars so far on consultants, and yet they don't even know that there is going to be an untoward environmental impact that will stop them in their tracks. They haven't done studies on carrying capacities, and carrying capacity refers to how many people can fit in a place. And there are different kinds of carrying capacities. One is called biological carrying capacity. That's how many people can fit without disturbing the ecosystem. And there's one called social carrying capacity, how many people can fit that's acceptable to other people that are around. And that's a very It's very subjective. You know, if you go to a park in a city, you see people wall to wall, and everybody's very, very happy. But are we going to be happy? Are other people going to be happy with that level of human density? But nobody's done any kind of analysis of this yet. There's been a lot of hearsay talk saying, oh yeah, the carrying capacity, we can achieve that. But so far there have been no actual studies. We saw documents that indicated that there was wetlands along the shoreline, but no wetland delineation has been done yet. So, and in addition to that, they're disregarding concerns about the entire Lowell Lake property as an important part of the wildlife corridor, the north-south wildlife corridor, which they themselves cite, and which is a major, you know, Act 171 calls for municipalities, towns to enact policies that preserve wildlife corridors. And I can talk to you for hours about what they are and why they're important and the damage that's caused not just locally but in the better part of the continent to impeding a wildlife corridor. And they're not doing anything to say that we have to be careful not to slow down the movement of wildlife through the park and the addition of people. If you look at the map that I gave you, these are the plans for there are two possible cabin concepts. Plan A is an entire set of renovated structures of the existing cabins along the shoreline, and Plan B on the backside is if they, for whatever reason, couldn't do that, they would build an entirely new area away from the shoreline. So they, in their documents, they expect to be exempt from Act 250, they expect to be exempt from the Lakeshore Protection Act, they expect to be exempt from our own town zoning. So
that's stated in the documentation that you got, that they expect an exemption from Act 250?
Oh yeah, yeah. They don't feel that they are bound by Act 250.